So, this coronavirus sure has been a real pain in the ass lately, hasn't it? I'm sure pretty much all of you are well aware, but real quick, coronavirus is a highly contagious disease that can cause flu-like symptoms such as fever, coughing, difficulty breathing, and then lead to more severe issues like pneumonia, acute respiratory failure, and death. And once you're cured, you can also get it again, and it's common for it to be even worse the second time around. Super fun stuff. And it has led to huge quarantines and lockdown over in China, which is where it started. Several videos have surfaced since the outbreak began, with the place looking like something out of a Resident Evil game, honestly. And as it spreads, other places like there's some towns in Italy, I believe, are also starting to take similar measures. People are in panic across the world, the stock market is crashing. It's a great time. But today, I want to talk about something even more important than all that. How this disease, this outbreak, is affecting and could continue to affect the video game industry. The big thing, of course, that is going to get hit right off the bat is conventions. There's a reason we have the term nerd flu, as these places are just a petri dish of germs that people bring with them from all over the globe. So some are hesitant to come out. There was actually a bit of drama over this with Sony recently announcing they were pulling out of PAX East, as after they made the announcement, the mayor of Boston made an official statement in response saying, "These fears reinforce harmful stereotypes that generations of Asians have worked hard to dismantle. They trigger our worst impulses to view entire groups of people with suspicion, to close ourselves off and miss out on the opportunities and connections our global city provides." Yeah, the opportunity to get coughed on and thrown in a quarantine camp. Yeah, given all the footage we're seeing coming out of places again like China, where this thing is really bad, the lockdown in cities in other countries now as well, I'm sure this is just a race thing with Sony. Surely it's not rational to have a fear of catching this virus once more in a location where there is going to be people from all over the place coming together, touching everything. Similarly, Cyberpunk 2077 dev CD Projekt Red as well as the PUBG team both also decided to pull out of PAX East. Then people started looking to the future. Microsoft pulled out of GDC, followed by Activision and Blizzard, as well as others, and that one got to the point where the entire event has been canceled. Well, technically it's postponed, but with no actual date. They say there still is going to be a GDC 2020 later in the year, but that obviously means things will have to be looking better in the next few months, and either way, a lot of people are screwed in terms of the money spent on travel plans, as well as how hard it's going to be able to get people to a new event at a different date on short notice. I saw there are already some fundraisers going on for some of these small developers that are going to lose a lot of money with this thing being canceled. There's a reason these big events are planned so far in advance. Tons of future esports tournaments have been canceled as well, and I assume we're only going to see more announcements like this in the coming weeks. Of course, according to people like the Boston mayor, I'm sure this just all has to do with these people's prejudices more than anything, right? It's just the flu, bro. Let everyone cough in your face or you're a bigot. Which leads us to the biggest gaming convention of the year, E3, which already has an attendance problem before this coronavirus thing even started. If anyone was on the fence about pulling out of E3 2020 before, this could really give them a push to cancel their appearance entirely and could be extremely devastating to the event, as well as make it harder for some of these companies to generate more hype for their big games coming up. Could be time, something I've been saying for a long time for just about everyone to just go the Nintendo Direct route. Film something in your offices, have a makeshift studio, whatever, and upload it to the internet. Safely. Simple as that. Which, that's actually another thing I've seen people bringing up. Could this be why we haven't seen a Nintendo Direct yet in 2020? A general one, at least? My opinion would be, I would assume not. Again, given the way Directs are made, it's not like you gotta go to a big convention or something. They do it all in-house. You just get footage sent over by the developers, do your voiceovers and that, and you're good to go. But if conventions continue to suffer, it definitely could have an effect on, hype and interest in various games. These are the places where we get a lot of our breaking news, big interviews and that, which sucks even more because this is such a huge year for gaming for many reasons. But it does get worse, in my opinion. Another element that we could see more issues with down the line is console production. With much of China being on lockdown, most people aren't working. Factories and stuff have been just shut down for weeks, which means if you're trying to get something made there, it's probably not coming at least on time. Nintendo has already admitted that the virus has affected production of the Nintendo Switch and thus the amount of systems they've been able to sell due to shortages. And this is already with this thing still being pretty new. And we have 2 major console launches coming soon with the Xbox Series X and PS5 systems. While there is still plenty of time to manufacture systems before those launches, if things don't get better soon, I think we'll see some issues there. It is possible we could see delays of the system launches entirely, but I think it's actually very likely that even if the systems do make their scheduled launch dates, there may be major shortages for the systems at the outset with them not having the necessary production time. This is one instance where I'd say if the coronavirus continues to be a big issue and you really want to get one of those shiny new systems at launch on day 1, you may want to pre-order them once they become available because yeah, with the way things are looking now, scarcity could be a major problem for these new systems, at least in the early days. And going forward, while it doesn't seem to be an issue now, the development of games in general could definitely be in jeopardy if things, again, don't improve. All you need is this thing to hit hard in an area where one of these major studios are located, that town, that city goes on some sort of lockdown, which means people aren't going to work, and work on the games that company is working on gets halted. And again, this could compound on those new console launches, as these brand new consoles surely have some big new games in development for them, and if they get hit with some sort of double whammy, I mean, imagine if Sony, for instance, right, has trouble getting PS5s on the shelves early on, and then this thing puts Burbank, California, let's say, on lockdown, which is where Insomniac is located, and it results in the inevitable Spider-Man 2 game also getting delayed. Not saying that Spider-Man 2 is a launch window game or anything, this is just a hypothetical, but what a disaster this could end up being for those big new system launches. So yeah, I don't think this could have really happened at a worse time for the gaming industry, again, when we are scheduled to have such a big year, major shift in the landscape of the industry, and the coronavirus could potentially screw a lot of that up. Anyway, with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on how this coronavirus is affecting the video game industry in the comments. What do you think about the reactions we're seeing currently, and how do you think things may escalate? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion on the coronavirus. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter at Johnny Zakari and join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.